Good evening, cellar dwellers. Welcome to the basement. Henry James coming to you live from the basement. How are y'all doing, lovers of the low end, who put the kick in the booty and the bottom in the end? So, today is a very pretty special day for me. Like one of my bucket list things happened today, and this is it, and I'm sharing it with all of you today. Today, I took delivery of this beautiful instrument. '64 Fender Precision Bass, pre-CBS. CBS bought Fender in early to mid '65. I guess the whole deal was done with CBS and Fender, and Leo sold the company out. Manufacturing got too big, whatever happened, and he sold the company to CBS, and CBS took over in '65. Well, this was probably one of the last years the basses were handmade, and I really don't know. Everybody tells me you never played a Fender until you played a pre-CBS Fender. I love all Fenders. I mean, I love new ones, I love old ones, I love them all. But I will say that this instrument right here is absolutely spectacular and special. It moved within 10 minutes of me just farting around here. It moved right up to number one in the rotation. It's absolutely killer. It's killer. Unbelievable bass. I got the tone off about a quarter. The thing's absolutely, it's amazing. I just can't get the smile off my face. So it's a 1964 pre-CBS Fender Precision Bass. I had to trade 4 really nice pieces away to get this bass, but because of what's going on, the prices have dropped, and so some things are worth more, some things are worth less. This is a refinish. The bass is all original, minus the paint, the pickguard, and I think one of the pots is a '69 pot. Otherwise, this bass is pure '64. And so I don't know. I just pulled up a tune. I'm gonna play with a pick tonight because that way you can get the full tonals. Sitting beside me are 2 of my other closest friends. My 76P and my 83P. So we got a P bass from every one of the I call them what counts decades. I mean, the '90s stuff is good. Some of the late '80s stuff is good. The new stuff the custom shop stuff is spectacular. So Fender's still on track with making really good instruments, but for me, these 3 decades were the epitome of my Fender playing: '60s, '70s, and '80s. So we're going to give you the sonic difference between them all with a track that I kind of know, and I'm not sure if I'll pull it off. I'm just pulling it up to play to it now, just to give you a little sample. I'll probably stop halfway through it. We'll plug in another one, I'll tell you a little about it, and then we'll plug in the last one, tell you a little about it, and we'll go from there. So right now, I'll probably come in late too, because this song is played with a pick. I didn't know that until I looked it up.
Skipping and a jumping
fantastic. I mean, not my playing and not the song, but the sound and the neck feels like nothing I've ever felt before, and it plays absolutely by itself fantastic. It's lightweight. I'm speechless because it's probably the best bass I've had in my hands ever. I'll use that term loosely, but I think it's a killer instrument. So let's move on. Let's move up a decade, and we'll tell you about my other special instrument. Let's unplug this bad boy and put this one aside. So for everybody, one more look. Seafoam green. It's a 30-year-old refin that has mellowed to this nice Bel Air, Chevy Bel Air blue, I'm almost calling it. Somebody posted a surf green Bel Air on the page that I posted this on the other day, and it looked pretty close. So I'm going to call this Bel Air blue. I might just name this bass Bel Air. You know what I mean? That's cool. So that bass will never, ever go anywhere. Plus it cost me some really fine instruments. Well, you know what? Only one of them was one that I'm going to miss and probably regret selling, but I know there's another one, and maybe I'll get another one someday. You only can get a pre-CBS Fender bass once or twice in a lifetime, so I got one. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Another Lighty, 8 pounds, 8 something, 8.4 or 5. Oh no, this one's the lightest one, 8.2. This one's 8.2. This bass here has been with me since the early 80s. I never played it up until Counterattack, 1991 maybe. I started playing this bass live because it was just, the cool factor was spectacular, and I didn't know at the time why that every time I gigged with this bass, the band always sounded better. Not as in like we played better, but the overall mix and the sound and the overall tonality of the band and everything was always more wonderful, more better when I played this bass. And I, you know, a 26, 23-year-old kid, I didn't really know better, but I knew there was something special about this instrument to not ever sell it. So I was that smart, and then I started playing it, and you can see the cigarette burn right there. That was all mine. We used to be able to smoke in the Cove and the P Club, and I'd put my Marlboro Light or my Cowboy Killer up there when I smoked. And Counterattack would do marathon shows, so I'd never get to grab it to take a drag because we'd always be doing like 20-minute versions of Dazed and Confused and shit. So the cigarette would burn down and burn the headstock of the bass. This bass is absolutely special to me. It will never ever leave my hands until my deathbed. So we'll plug it in. I'll give you a little sample of what she sounds like. Alright, this one I'm running full up. We'll back the tone off just a little bit like that one so we get the same tonal aspect. Another thing I should mention is this one's got pretty new, the 64's got pretty new strings on it. The 76 has got older strings on it. I had it set up, I don't know, about 4 months ago, so the strings are about 4 months old. So it's got a little more deader of a sound, but the tone, the quality is still there. Killer instrument. Never goes anywhere. Number 2. This is my number 2. So that one moved. This was my number 1. 64 moved into the number 1 spot, and this now has been relegated to number 2. But she will never go nowhere. And we'll play a little bit of this track and see how it sits in it. this bass brings a real smile to my face also. So, pure 76, almost all original, and 99.9% original. Even got the bent tuning key right here where I think I hit John Brindisi. I hit my singer in the face with this bass at the P Club one night. I don't remember if it drew blood or knocked a tooth out, but it bent the tuner on my bass, and it's very hard to turn. I didn't want to replace it because whenever you screw with something, it always screws with the mojo, and this bass has a ton of mojo, and I want to leave it alone. So I'll deal with this bent tuning peg, and I'll always have a great story of how I whacked my singer in the face with this bass. So I'm sure if Johnny watches this, he'll concur. So it's all 76, beautiful sunburst, beautiful maple V-neck, all the wear and tear is mine. Everything about this bass is all me. The only thing that I've ever replaced on it was this, see that? I don't know why, but I put a gold jack in many years ago. I had a screwed up input jack, and I got a gold one. I thought it was better conductivity or something. I don't know. Whatever it was. Either way, this is a killer bass. On to number 3. So this is a 1976 TV logo, the whole 9 yards. And you notice all these red washes. These are all my strap locks. That's Gross Beer washes. Been using them since the early 80s. So let's bring this bad boy over here. This bass, I just got back from my studio where we record all the Go stuff and all the Go magic happens. This bass is the bass that changed my entire way of thinking about recording, sonic value and music and everything else. This bass taught me a whole bunch of lessons that this bass will never go anywhere either. This is a holy grail. I bought this bass from the Swami probably 20 years ago. I didn't even want a P bass, but he said, you need to have this P bass. Everybody needs to have a P bass. I'm like, I have a P bass. He goes, no, but you ain't got this P bass. So I bought it from him. I think I paid $600 for it. And this bass has been on every recording I've ever done -4. Only because I was in the studio with Go for the first record, and we were recording, and I was trying my Rick. I had a Gibson Ripper, my Rickenbacker 4003, and I had my jazz bass, which sucked, and I had my St. Blues, which was pretty good. It wasn't exactly what we were looking for, but it was close, and we knew we needed something else. And Chris told me to bring this bass to the next session, and we brought this bass in, plugged it in, played 4 notes, and went, oh my God, there it is. And I've recorded every song ever since. The first 4 songs on the first Go record. I've recorded every song with this bass since. Maybe a couple of different things. I used a fretless on a couple of things and a couple of special things, but this bass for the most part has been on every recording I've ever done. And it's just that bass. It's just... It's just killer. Now, mind you, the 76 and the 83, this